Hello, it's Joy Olson of BlockBuster Fundraising, and as a part of our summer learning series, we're going to discuss a quiz. A quiz put together by Tom Ahern, 20 questions, and it is the donor communications test. So, are you up to this? Sure you are. Hopefully you saw yesterday we covered the first 3 questions, and today, we start with question number 4. What percentage of U.S. charitable income, I ask you, is now raised online? The answer is less than 10% of the total. Now we've got to talk about the studies, the notes and assumptions that produce this answer, because many experts had to weigh in on these questions. And the Chronicle of Philanthropy asked America's 400 largest charities for data about their online fundraising results during 2013. And they gave the accounts that it still was a very small portion of the monies that they relied on. Among the 76 nonprofits that provided both their online and overall giving, and this was back in 2013, the median share of online gifts is just 2% of all donations from private sources. But you can take comfort if your nonprofit is not yet seeing big results from online giving. You're not alone, but the trend, my friend, is clear. Online giving is rising, up 9.2% in a single year. And that's according to Baud's latest charitable giving report, and that was released in February of 2016. So online giving, of course, is growing more sophisticated, and Baud reported this wonderful report, and they crunched data from almost 4,000 nonprofits, both large and small, and in 2015, these organizations altogether raised $14.5 billion from individual donors, and 7.1% of that was online. And one area of online giving growth worth watching, and take note of this because this is important, is Giving Tuesday. Now, Giving Tuesday just debuted back in 2012, and it was supposed to be the counterweight to the consumer feeding frenzies of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And Giving Tuesday then arrives the first Tuesday after the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. And it was started by the United Nations Foundation and the YMCA in New York City. Well, online donations for Giving Tuesday rose 52% in 2015. Wow. And that was only the 4th year of the event. And with 17% of those gifts being made on their mobile device. So those phones, those iPhones, the Androids, the iPads, wow, they make a big difference now. That's why we're always yakking about being mobile responsive. So globally, 117 million was given online in response to Giving Tuesday. Important. So hopefully this summer you are honing in and finalizing some great Giving Tuesday stories and your plan to make it really significant this year. All right, 5th question I have for you today from Tom Ahern. Is direct mail past its peak? What do you think? Well, the answer from the experts is no, no, no. It is definitely not past its peak. And here are their notes and assumptions. They say that for a couple of decades, fundraising futurists have droned on about the sure demise of direct mail, deeming its printing irrelevant in a digital age. But you know, as Mark Twain wrote, "A worried friend, the report of my death was an exaggeration." And they say, consider this, fact number one, direct mail is still by far the way most U.S. charities, big and small, attract new first-time donors. And fact number two, direct mail is how most U.S. charities continue to ask current donors to give yet again. They don't ask them to give yet again via email, which often they ignore by and large, but they ask via direct, physical, well-personalized, non-boring direct mail. And of course, phone calls are a huge help here too. Direct mail, in fact, drives a lot of online giving. Now consider this. This is really important to blend and integrate all your channels, because as Jeff Brooks noted back in 2014, direct mail sends more people to give online than any digital medium like Facebook or email does. So Boston-based expert Tina said that 15% to 37% of online gifts are prompted by a letter. Plus, she cautions, quote, donors are 3 times more likely to give online in response to a direct mail appeal than to an email appeal. Direct mail not only isn't dead, it's more important than ever. And Tina makes another point, this time about multiple touches. By receiving a letter and then giving online, that supporter has become worth more to you because donors connected to you through multiple channels give at least 20% more than donors connected through only one channel. And guess what? They also have better conversion rates. And guess what else? Higher retention rates. So, you'd best be fundraising both online and offline. And of course, one clear danger to direct mail fundraising is really the rising cost of postage. You know, direct mail is expensive, and you have to sit down. When you budget, you have to sit down and decide, well, when are our direct mails going out? What are we sending out to how many? Because it is expensive. And the experts say you have to spend 50 plus cents to get that direct mail piece to your peeps. And then another 75 cents to get their gift back, and another 75 cents to thank them. So this can be a killer expense. And if the response rate to your direct mail acquisition appeal, and I know as a development director, I always dreaded, I was always trying to think, how can we make this acquisition appeal a huge success? How can we get over 2%? And you have to really work it, but you know, 1% is what people expect nowadays from a it's considered a reasonable return for acquisitions. So if you're only going to get 1% return, then 99% of your mailing has produced 0 revenue, and that's not fun, and it's a lot of printing and postage expended to land one new donor. Ugh. And an oft-heard rule of thumb is in acquisition, you'll spend $2 to raise $1. You'll spend $60 to land a $30 gift. And you only go into the black on direct mail when and if that newly acquired donor gives again and again. Too few do. 8 out of 10 first-time donors in the U.S. on average do not make a second gift to the same charity. So, fellow fundraisers, when you work so hard to acquire these new donors, and that's so important to refresh and grow your base, your skills at retaining those new donors is where the real money hides. You have got to think retention. You've got to have a plan, a new donor plan. You've got to keep them close to your cause. You've got to offer them more possibilities for a relationship with your cause. So go to our YouTube channel and study how to love your new donors. Do that. It's important. You've got to have a plan to retain your new donors. And you get a lot of new donors on Giving Tuesday. It works wonderfully well for Giving Tuesday too. All right, what's the best link for a fundraising letter? I'm sure you're not going to believe this because I didn't, and I've read a lot of studies about it, and guess what the answer is? 4 pages. Whoa! Well, even Tom Ahern says, I know it's counterintuitive, but here's the thing. What matters isn't the page count. What matters is the quality of the writing. A 4-page letter will not outperform a lousy 1-page letter. A great 4-page letter will outperform a great 1-page letter. Now, he says amateurs may disagree, but among the top direct mail professionals worldwide, there is zero debate. They expect to get their strongest results writing longer letters, and they test that assumption. Long letters pretty much always do better, says Jeff Brooks, and he's the best of the best when it comes to writing donor letters. And that's true for acquisition as well as donor cultivation. And why wouldn't they? Because professionally written letters work hard to entertain you, to grab you, to keep you on the edge of your seat, to draw you in and onward. Masterful letters, and they tell a vivid story of urgent need and treat you, the donor, as the hero. Well, most charities are stuck with letters written by the or slightly trained. I hope that's not you, because let us help train you. Let's be clear with those letters. If you're brand new and you haven't been trained, shorter is better. State your cause, state your case, make your ask, be grateful, be polite, be brief, and be gone. But after you study and learn from the experts and take webinars, you too will become very well honed at writing consistently good direct mail. But like Tom Ahern says, you must get training. There is so much of this behind the scenes that tools and things that you have to know. So you can't just turn out a 4-page letter when you're brand new. So please get training. And there's some wonderful books you can read. May Warwick's How to Write Successful Fundraising Appeals. That latest edition came out in 2013, and it covers both postal and emailed appeals. And for good measure, and even a deeper understanding of the writer's thought process, get both these books. I love them. Jeff Brooks wrote both. The Fundraiser's Guide to Irresistible Communications, you'll love it. Or How to Turn Your Words into Money. Both are worth their weight in gold. They're short, they're easy to read. They're wonderful to refer back to each time you sit down to write a direct mail piece. Okay, question number 7, and this is the last question we're going to tackle today since we're talking about direct mail. Question number 7, what's the preferred grade level for a direct mail appeal? Do you know the answer to this one? Do you know what the experts say and believe to be true, and they've tested it again and again? 6th grade level. Now, grade level as measured by the Fleischman-Kincaid readability test, has to do with just one thing: how quickly my brain can move through your words. So this is very important, and in this 20 questions, he gives you an example of a successful letter and readability scores and a very unsuccessful letter. And you can decide for yourself, you can read these, but you've got to write clearly. Your writing needs to bring clarity, and you have to think reader convenience. So this is very, very important. And a lot of people will say to you, well, don't talk down to me. I can't stand that, and you shouldn't do that. And if you write at this 8th grade level or 6th grade level, people are going to tell you that. They're going to say, hey, most of our donors have degrees. Many have graduate degrees. We can't risk talking down to them. Well, that sounds really reasonable, but the experts say it's wrong. Writing at a lower grade level is not about talking down. It's about talking clearly. You can write about astrophysics at the 8th grade level, and if you're waiting for a general audience, you should. In fact, grade level and reading ease scores have little to do with vocabulary. You need to keep your sentences simply constructed and your words to a minimum in the sentences, and you'll do fine. So you want to jump in here and read about this. They give all kinds of great examples, and you will get a real sense of what writing at a 6th grade level or an 8th grade level or higher can mean, and you'll see it tested in the results. And I think you will be a believer that you're not talking down, you're talking clearly. What was that movie when he kept saying, I forget right, he kept saying, explain it to me like a 2-year-old. And it is a very intelligent man. But what he's saying is, if you really understand what you're talking about, explain it to me clearly, and I'll be right there with you. You got to know your mission, and you've got to be able to explain clearly what you mean and what you want your donor to do. Hey, that's it for today, okay? Summer Learning Series, BlockBuster Fundraising. I'm Joy Olson. Thank you for having been here today. Find more of our Summer Learning System series on our YouTube channel. We're housing it there, and guess what? There are hundreds of free fundraising video tips that you do one a day, and you can pick your subject, whether it's retention or acquisition or donor communications, showing donor love. It's all there for you, broken down. And we know that each and every day, if you take a little bit of time and learn a little bit more, your fundraising is going to become significantly better, and your cause is going to shine because of it. So good for you. And this is Joy Olson saying goodbye. We're at joyolsongroup.com, blockbusterfundraising.com. Thanks for having been here. Tomorrow, question 8. We'll start with question 8. How often can you ask in a year without driving off your donors? I think you're going to be stunned at that answer. Bye-bye. Thank you.